Good morning, Happy Valley, and welcome back to another edition of the Penn State 365 podcast. As always, I'm your host, Richie O'Leary, and join when we're talking football or just about anything, recruiting-wise. For today specifically, Dylan Crawley, our co-host. Wow, that was a mouthful. Dylan, some exciting news today. Penn State landed a top 50, number 36 overall recruit in the country, running back Alvin Henderson. This is a huge get for Penn State. Just talk a little bit about how this one came together. I know we just visited it last week, but it just seems like that was it, and that sealed the deal.
Yeah, so Penn State, was wanted to get Alvin Henderson on campus for a while. There was a couple times it looked like he was going to get on campus, just never made it to campus. Mm-hmm. There was one point in the spring where Penn State wanted to get on campus, and the weather, was bad that week, and J1 Sire told him, "Don't come up. We'll get you back on campus another time." Then he scheduled a commitment for last week, and he'd never been to Penn State. So at that time, Auburn was the leader. We future cast him to Auburn, all that, and then his commitment date comes and goes, and he doesn't make a commitment. He shows up on campus Friday. Nobody knew about it beforehand, and he's there for 2 days. Comes out of that visit, and Penn State was the leader. He tweets the next day, I think, that he's going to go somewhere where he could play for the best running back coach and play for a good head coach as well. And there's not many better running back coach in the country than J1 Sider, and Penn State's ability to develop running backs over the James Franklin era has been clear. And he then, one day after that, tweets out he's going to commit today on Thursday, and he committed. And here we are. Penn State now has 3 running back commitments in this 2025 recruiting class. All are 4-star prospects. Keandre Barker's now a 3-star prospect, but that's only because, honestly, he hasn't played much football in the last couple of years. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes back to being a 4-star running back after this season is complete. So, you got 3 really high upside running backs now with Alvin Henderson in the fold, and Penn State's running back room looks like it's going to be staying really talented for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, so safe assumption, just looking at this, now that they have 3 committed, I guess the most important question everyone's going to ask is, are they done? Because I know they were showing interest in Jabri Coleman. I think they were hosting another running back recently as well. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I would assume they're done, right?
Yeah, with 3 commitments now, I think they're going to be done at running back in this 2025 recruiting class. If somebody decommits, they could definitely revisit the position down the road. But I think they're done now at running back for the 2025 recruiting class. They've been pretty vocal to their targets that they expect both Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen to head to the NFL after this upcoming season, which I think should be a surprise. And I would also expect, Penn State to probably see one of the other running backs leave via the transfer portal at some point in the next 6 months, just because it is going to be a deep and talented room. Somebody's going to want an opportunity elsewhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody else leave along with Allen and Singleton. But I think Penn State's done at running back for now. And I think it's fair to say they're going to probably end up here with the best running back call in the 2025 recruiting class.
Yeah, for sure. Top 50 kid. Where's Alvin Henderson ranked? He's ranked number 3 overall at the running back spot.
36 overall
in the nation. Alabama native. They strike again in Alabama. Now they've done really well in Alabama.
Yeah.
Between AJ Harris, who you recently just had an article on. Who's the safety that I can't remember his name? Dakari Nelson. Yep, there's another
Harrison
one.
Wallace.
Harrison Wallace. They've done really well from an Alabama standpoint. Just looking at Alvin Henderson's game a little bit. He is 5'9", 5'10", 190-ish around there, I would say.
Smaller running back for sure.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. He's not built like a Nick Singleton, I should say, but really good zone scheme runner. He's really strong for that weight. Actually, I'm trying to rewatch his tape in the background right now.
The stats don't lie. The numbers don't lie, right?
Yeah.
Alabama by no means is a bad football state. He rushed for 3,500 yards and 61 touchdowns as a junior. He has nearly 7,300 total career rushing yards, 132 career rushing touchdowns, 33 games of 100-plus yards and 38 career games in high school. I mean, the production doesn't lie. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I keep 3,500 yards. It's mind-boggling to me. Single season record it looks like too for Alabama high school. But yeah, that size, like he not only does he have most of those guys that size, you expect them to have the speed that he does and that burst and that little acceleration, and he has all that. But I'm like amazed by his like strength for a guy at his size. Like he's not just an in between the tackles runners. Don't get me wrong, he does find more yardage that way, but
yeah,
he's very patient and he's not afraid to run you over from time to time. And he's super athletic too. And I think that comes with playing basketball as well.
He's a well-developed all-around running back. That's for sure. I mean, there's a reason he's a top 50 player in the country. I think there's no doubt in my mind that he's a top 50, top 100 prospect in this country, one of the best running backs in this cycle, and somebody who can make an instant impact at Penn State, which he may not even need to do, but he has the ability. And I mean, this is a major. Now let's get something straight as well. This recruitment is not over. Penn State is probably going to have to fight tooth and nail to keep Alvin Henderson committed for the next 6 months, because Auburn is right down the street. If Alabama comes knocking, that's going to be tough. I mean, he's visited Auburn too many times for me to count just off the top of my head. I'm guessing it's going to have to be 12 to 14 times already. It's going to be tough to keep these Southern kids committed. We've seen that in the past. Yeah. But Penn State's been hard on him for a long time. And he has a really good relationship with Jaywan Sider, with assistant running backs coach / offensive analyst Charles Walker. Penn State has a lot in their favor of keeping Henderson in this class, but it's always tough with these Southern kids. They're far away. Those SEC schools have money. It's always tough going up that type of competition. But for now, Penn State, has to feel really good about what they're putting together once again in that running back room.
Yeah. So now let me ask you this. I know I asked you before, will they take a fourth running back? Probably not. Will they even be able to keep three running backs? Because between Barker, T-Quay Hayes is a down-the-street kid at Aliquippa. Keandre Barker is now at Miami Central playing with Beckham Kritza and another potential top target. I shouldn't say potential top target, is a top target in Randy Adarica. So there's a lot of connections between those two and Penn State. Yep. Are we confident they'll still end up a three-back class?
As of right now, I see no reasons to believe they won't. Again, Henderson will be tough to keep just as a Southern kid. Hey, maybe it goes off without a hitch the rest of the way, but I imagine there will be some. He'll end up on a campus somewhere at some point. With Barker, he's been pretty vocal. He's been honest that other programs have been, kicking tires on him, asking about how strong his verbal commitment is to Penn State. That's only going to continue if he has a good offseason and good senior season for Miami Central. Hayes, I feel pretty good about that. He's going to stay committed to Penn State. But, anybody in the world today's college football, nothing would surprise me. But as of right now, I think I have confidence that they will keep all three committed, with probably Henderson at this point being the biggest question mark.
Okay, that's fair. Moving on a little bit, because this isn't just going to be about Alvin Henderson. This is going to be about this weekend. This is going to be a big weekend for Penn State for Blue White weekend. Lots and lots of players are going to be on campus this weekend. Is there anyone you're really keeping an eye on specifically?
This weekend, I don't really think there's anybody I'm really putting on commitment watch just for I guess for this weekend, there's nobody right now that's on commitment watch, but that can certainly change as we add more prospects over the next couple weeks. But, guys that are interested in me, defensive end, Randy Adarica, who you just mentioned, that's a big one. There's a future cast in for him from Miami publisher, Miami Hurricanes expert Marcus Benjamin, which is notable. Penn State seems to be doing a lot of good there. Michael Gibbs is an offensive lineman from North Carolina who's worth watching. Trent Wilson is set to make his commitment on Wednesday when we're recording this. So a little bit of a behind the scenes there that we are pre-recording the Henderson commitment. But
Yeah.
Trent Wilson, I'm guessing, is not going to show up on Saturday after he commits to Oklahoma at the time of recording. But 2026 offensive line Carter Scruggs is somebody that I'm going to be interested in catching up with after this, because Penn State has done a really good job there early on. Not necessarily somebody, again, that I'm expecting commitment watch out of, but somebody that I think Penn State can continue to do a really good job with, and that could help them going forward for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Randy Alarica is the one I'm really keeping a close eye on, because they did, like you said, Miami publisher Marcus Benjamin did flip his future cast recently to Penn State. Right. And Penn State, it seems like it might be is his only official visit right now. So I think that's definitely going to be something to monitor going forward.
Right. I agree.
Other than that, I think that's really it in terms of recruiting. We're kind of just waiting for Blue White weekend to happen, and
definitely seems like it's going to be a little bit of a more
laid back,
Liz. I said this on our good friend Zach Sago's podcast. Shout out to Zach, who's been really helpful this spring with practice as well. I feel like Penn State is very much taking a little bit of a attitude with spring visits, that they'd rather get a little bit more personal visits throughout the spring done with their top prospects than necessarily have all of them on campus for the blue-white game, where you're going to, you have 50 some kids on campus. You don't get as big of a personal visit for them. And I'm sure we're going to add to that list a little bit more as the game comes up, or gets closer. But I definitely think they'd rather get those more personal visits, one-on-one visits, than not so as you would get with the blue-white.
Yeah, for sure. Other than that, recruiting, that's pretty much it. There is some notable news from practice this week. Before we get to that, let's talk about what happened at practice this week. Anything really stand out, catch your eye? Anything like that? Any notable things from Franklin? I don't think they really said anything.
Once again, no Katron Allen at practice. Nothing that I think would be concerning. Usually if it's something big, we hear about, injury, or if there's tension or whatever. None of that with Katron Allen. None of that. So I think Katron Allen probably just going through some, bumps, bruises, whatever you want to call them.
It's happened.
I don't think he's gonna I don't think he was gonna play much to begin with on Saturday. Him missing the last 2 weeks, I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see him at all on Saturday at this point.
I don't blame him either.
Not really, anything to be concerned about there. But Keandre Lambert-Smith was not on campus. Was not at practice on Tuesday either, which in itself wouldn't have been anything to really scoff at or think about. Could just be banged up still. But we have heard a couple rumors regarding Keandre Lambert-Smith. We posted those around 7:00 on Tuesday, shortly after we didn't see him at practice. So be sure to go over to Heavy Valley Insider, pennstate.rivals.com, and check out the latest there. Because that is something that we're just going to monitor over the next few days there with Keandre Lambert-Smith. And I'll be interested to see if he is there on Saturday at the blue-white game. If he's there, it'll make things a little bit even more interesting. If he's not there at all, then I think we would be able to read between the lines there. So the next step with Keandre Lambert-Smith, I think, is to just to see if he is there on Saturday. Yeah,
based on the intel that we've had and intel we posted, not too optimistic there. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, college football things change rapidly. Bear Alexander 24 hours ago was leaving USC, and now Bear Alexander is staying at USC. So things can change very fast at Penn State. But yeah, stay tuned at Penn State Rivals, Heavy Valley Insider, for the latest on that situation.
Yeah, I think that's really all we got for today. Kind of a short episode, but we just wanted to hop on and talk some Alvin Henderson. A little bit of a recruiting update as well, because it is Blue White weekend up this coming Saturday. So Quick little preview there. Like you said, nothing too notable. And then some notable team news, too. If a notable player says your leading receiver is not on campus, or not at practice, I should say.
not practice.
That's pretty big. So we'll keep you updated there. We'll keep you in the loop with all that good stuff. If you aren't already, join pennstate.rivals.com, a.k.a. Happy Valley Insider. The Lions Den forum, the go-to forum for anything with Penn State scoops, whether it be team news, recruiting news. We have it all on there. I just updated the hoops portal stuff recently, and a couple new names on there. Also, football portal I think is next week too. Which, man, this is it doesn't stop, does it?
No. I mean, I just said this with Zach as well. I mean, you look at the college football calendar. You got the blue white game this weekend. Then you got Monday or Tuesday through the end of April is the transfer portal window.
Yep.
May is going to be a little bit quiet, but starting with that last week of May, we got a month of official visits.
Mm-hmm.
You got a little bit of a quiet down period in July after official visit season wraps up in June. But then, August hits and we're into fall camp, and then
like a last season, we got fall camp. Like
the season goes into late January now because of the college football playoffs. I mean, this is already a sport that never stops, but now with the college football playoffs expanding and likely expanding again, I mean, it really is becoming a sport that never stops. I'll be interested just long term thinking how spring practices will be impacted come next year by the college football playoffs and how that affects spring schedules too. So definitely an interesting time to be a college football beat writer, a college football fan, just following the sport. A really interesting time.
Yeah, and if you want more college football news and more Penn State news, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube if you're listening on there, or any of the podcasting apps you're on, whether it be Apple, Spotify, Google, etc. And do us a favor and give us 5 stars. It helps us grow the pod. The algorithm's a little nutty and how it works, so the more reviews we get, the better reach we get too. So, for me and Dylan, that's another episode of the Penn State 365 podcast. Sign off.